Welcome to the Third Time podcast, the place where soccer doesn't end at the final whistle. Alyssa is with you, and today we discuss Barcelona demolishes Real Madrid in an epic Clásico clash, and have special guest Mark to break down all the details. Buckle up, it's going to be a hot third half.
All right, so everyone wanted to know what happened in that Barcelona-Real Madrid match. So we dove deep into the post-game analysis, and we're here to break it all down. This wasn't just a win for Barcelona. It was a tactical masterclass that really showed some weaknesses in Real Madrid's game.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is how much of a risk Barcelona took with their defensive strategy. They're playing a high line. So basically, they're pushing their defensive line way up the field. They're practically daring their opponents to try and get in behind them.
Yeah, I saw that Barcelona leads all of Europe in offsides called against their opponents because of this tactic. It's such a risky move. But wow, in this match, it really paid off.
Yeah, it did. And it all comes down to how they use this high line to shut down Real Madrid's biggest threats. Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., these guys are known for their speed. But Barcelona's defense was like a stretched elastic band, snapping back, catching those forwards offside over and over.
Mbappe was flagged offside 12 times during the match. That has to be frustrating. He even had 2 goals called back because of offside.
It's like Barcelona knew exactly how Real Madrid wanted to play, and they set a trap. And you have to remember, Real Madrid was on a 42-game unbeaten streak going into this match.
So they must have been feeling pretty confident, maybe even a little overconfident.
Exactly. That might be why they seemed so thrown by Barcelona's approach. Their manager, Carlo Ancelotti, didn't seem to have a plan B at all when their usual style of play just got completely disrupted.
Meanwhile, Lewandowski is on the other side of the pitch, just having a great time. 2 goals for him, and he could have had a hat trick. If not for one shot where he hit the post with an open goal, I guess even the greats have those moments.
But even more than the goals, it's impressive how Lewandowski's movement was perfectly tailored to take advantage of the gaps created by Real Madrid's own high line. It's like they created the perfect conditions for him to score without even realizing it.
Oh, and speaking of scoring, Lamine Yamal. This kid is only 16 years old, and he became the youngest player ever to score in El Clásico.
Yeah, and that goal was a direct result of Barcelona's strategy. Real Madrid was so focused on the offside trap, they left other areas open, and Yamal, with no fear, just went for it.
So even though Real Madrid had a lot of chances to score, Barcelona's high line just forced them into tough positions, rushing their shots, or getting called back for offside. It's almost like Barcelona was playing chess, while Real Madrid was playing checkers.
That's a great way to put it. Barcelona was thinking so many steps ahead, anticipating Real Madrid's moves, then using those moves against them. It was a masterclass in exploiting your opponent's strengths and turning them into weaknesses.
So that brings us to the big question. Will we see other teams trying to use this highline strategy after seeing how well it worked for Barcelona?
Well, it's definitely risky, but we saw in this match that when it's executed well, it can be devastating.
So do you think this is the future of football tactics? Or was this just a one-time thing?
Well, that's what we're going to get into next. We have to take a look at the strength and weaknesses of both these teams to really understand how and why Barcelona was able to do this so well. Because this goes way beyond just the high line. It's about understanding the game and how tactical decisions can affect the entire match. It's easy to just focus on those offside calls and all the goals, but what really stood out to me was how Barcelona's strategy. It wasn't just about stopping Real Madrid. It was about making chances for their own attack.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about it. Real Madrid's defense was pushed so high up the field that it left all this space for Barcelona's attackers, almost like they were inviting Real Madrid into a trap.
So they knew that Real Madrid might get through, but they also knew that if the high line worked, they would have a lot of chances to score.
Yeah. And that's where a player like Lewandowski is so valuable. Being able to time his runs perfectly, finding those little pockets of space between the defenders, he was crucial for Barcelona.
Yeah, it sounds like he was thinking ahead, anticipating Real Madrid's every move.
Absolutely. And remember how Real Madrid's defenders were already on edge because of the high line? Lewandowski's movement just made that even worse. They never knew what he was going to do. He was playing a game within the game.
And then you have Lamine Yamal scoring a goal.
Yeah.
At 16 years old in El Clásico. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Was that more about his talent, or was that because of Barcelona's strategy?
I think it was a little bit of both. Real Madrid was so focused on the offside trap, they left other areas open. And Yamal saw that, and he took advantage of it. But you also got to give him credit. That's a tough situation to be in. He kept his cool.
Yeah. He took his chance. But let's go back to those 2 goals that Mbappe had taken away. It feels like those were really important moments in the match.
You're right. Both times, Mbappe used his speed to get behind Barcelona's defense, and for a second, it looked like he had scored.
The crowd thought he had scored, and then the flag went up.
Yeah. And the replays showed he was just barely offside.
It shows how risky that highline strategy was for Barcelona.
If their timing was off by even a little bit, Mbappe would have had a clear shot.
Imagine how frustrating that must have been for Mbappe and Real Madrid.
I think it definitely affected them mentally. You could see that Real Madrid's players started to hesitate. Like, they didn't trust themselves anymore. And Barcelona just kept taking advantage of that.
It makes you wonder, maybe that 42-game unbeaten streak actually hurt Real Madrid in this match. Like they were too confident.
That's a good point. Maybe all that success made them less flexible, less willing to adapt when Barcelona did something different. And Barcelona, they were hungry. They wanted to win. They were willing to take risks.
And Barcelona's attack was playing well, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Lewandowski is obviously a great goal scorer. But it felt like he was doing so much more than just scoring goals.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't just scoring. He was controlling Real Madrid's defense, creating space for his teammates. It was like he was a conductor.
So what was he doing that was so effective?
Well, his timing was perfect. He knew when to run, when to move wide to pull defenders out of position, and when to hold his position.
So he was controlling the game with his movement.
Exactly. And remember, Real Madrid's defense was already stretched because of the high line, so every time Lewandowski moved, it was a problem for them.
Like he was playing chess with them.
Yeah. He was always one step ahead.
And don't forget about that time he almost scored a hat-trick, but hit the post.
Yeah, even the best players miss sometimes.
It shows that no matter how much control a team has, football can still be unpredictable.
It's what makes the game so exciting.
In this match, all those little moments, they all added up to a huge win for Barcelona and a big loss for Real Madrid. This match makes you think, could this be like a whole new era for football tactics?
I mean, who knows, right? Are we going to see more teams playing this highline strategy? Or was this just a perfect storm, a unique situation where it worked for Barcelona?
It's definitely a risky strategy. But like we've been saying, it can have huge rewards. You can disrupt the other team's plan. You can create so many scoring chances, even stop the fastest players.
Barcelona changed the game. They showed that sometimes you got to take a risk to play good defense. It's going to be interesting to see what other teams do. Will they try to do the same thing? Or find a new way to counter it?
It's going to be interesting to watch. This match really got people talking about individual talent versus tactics.
Yeah, on one side, you have players like Mbappe, whose speed and skill are just amazing. But then on the other side, you have a team like Barcelona, working together so well that they can stop even the best players.
It's the classic question. What's more important, individual players or the team as a whole?
And in this match, it seems like Barcelona showed that a well-coordinated team with a good plan can beat even the most talented players. They were moving as one. It was amazing.
Did a real team win? Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into El Clasico, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest thing is that football is always changing. There are always new ideas, new ways to play the game. And Barcelona showed us what you can do. When you have smart tactics and you're not afraid to try them.
Sometimes the biggest risks have the biggest rewards.
So to everyone listening, keep watching, keep learning, and never underestimate a good plan.
We'll be here to break it all down for you. See you next time.